accountable for their actions more effectively. And we need to really, really dig deep and figure out what it is that we would like to see, or where would we like to see our nation go in the next 50 or 100 years. Because at the end of the day, none of us can live forever, but the only how we could live forever is by the legacy in which we leave. So I think we need to start as individuals. Love yourself, or love God, love yourself, your family, and then your country. And I think...
Solutions, Afia?
I think it's interesting that Kirill mentioned God. I think because we have become a society that has strayed away from God so much that we neglect his principles. And if we look at his principles, they are there for a reason. They're there to govern. And once it is broken, there's consequences. And today we have the consequences of crime. We look at the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, and all these things. And if it is that we align ourselves with the will of God and we stick to these commandments and these principles, then a lot of these issues will be eliminated. If it is that we train up the child the way they should go, when they grow old, they will not depart. We have a better society. So I think that society, we are lacking the fear of God.
Preach, sister.
Very well. Okay, we have strong words here today. Candice, solutions.
Well, one of the points that was brought up is that there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of young families, like children making children. So you have a lot of kids coming to school that are coming from broken homes. And one thing that's lacking from a lot of our schools is counselors and mentors. You have sometimes for a school of 800 students, you have like probably 1 or 2 counselors. That cannot make a difference. You need to invest, and we need to develop in the minds of our people to go after, pursue those studies, to come back and to work with some of the young people, because a lot of them are coming from a lot of broken homes where all they know is to fight and to bully somebody to get what they want because they don't have it. So and that's what they see at home. But if you have enough people in schools that can help work with the students and help them grow and teach them good morals and principles and the reasons for having that and the benefits for having that and the better life that you can have if you live a certain way, then maybe you might see a difference in the way that children are after they finish school. So,
okay. That's one of my solutions. Excellent. And there you have it, folks, from the voice of the youth. And I couldn't say it any better. This has been Tobago CSI. Tune in next time.
No, I'm not ready for that.
Stop. Stay calm. Start thinking.
Okay, cool.
Later.
A message from the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
Remember, we don't want to know who you are. We just want your information. Crime Stoppers. It's safe and it works.
Welcome back to Tobago CSI. We have heard from our youth panel. These young people certainly had a mouthful. They shared with us their perspective on crime in Tobago. We now have the privilege of speaking with some experienced, the senior citizens of Tobago, who will share with us their experiences and what they consider safe and healthy Tobago.
Okay, so tell me, what is life like now for you as a senior citizen living in Tobago?
Well, not very safe with the crime situation. But I, as an individual, I do a lot of church work. So I try to encourage young people, to get back to morality of life. so that if you notice, most of the crime is the young people. And young people are not going to church anymore. Well, even in Tobago here, you're hearing a lot of break-ins, murders. We never used to have that long ago. You know, you see a lot of strange people long ago. You almost knew everybody in the community. But now you're seeing a lot of strange people passing. You don't know who they are. They could be criminals, they could be good people. So I don't feel that safe. You're sort of prisoner in your own home.
Well, living in Tobago for the past 65 years, I feel comfortable and not so comfortable. Because where I'm living in Milford Court, I feel really safe. Because my neighbors, we look out for each other in Milford Court.
So do you think it's your relationship with your neighbors that works for you? And
Oh
makes
yes,
you feel
very
that
well
safe?
so, very well so. Because I remember instance with my neighbor. My husband was working at that time, and maybe he came home for a pillow. And when I reach home, my neighbor say, I see your husband come home and he take out the pillow and go away. You know, that is the kind of way we are living in Milford Court. You know, because I feel really safe.
Yeah.
I feel really, really, really safe where I'm living in Milford Court. I don't have a problem there.
Okay, so you don't think people just minding their business?
No.
Okay.
No, I feel they are looking out for us. We are looking out for one another.
Well, I'm living at Crown Point, Stobby Local Road. One incident I had, I could tell you, someone break in my house. When my daughter went to put down her child, the man was inside. She bawled out. We run out to see who it is, but opened the door, back door, jump over the fence, gone over by my son. We call my son. Everybody come out to run him, but I tell you, we could not meet him at all. No, I'm not scared again, you understand? I'm not scared again because I'm living right on the road, not far from the police station, you understand? But again, can't trust those police. You call them. Yes, because the night about 11 o'clock, about 2 weeks ago, a fella walking up and down, up and down. I have a camera, we watch. I said, we know that fella. We call the police. Up to now, no police
response. So in terms of crime and violence then, what are the things that affect you now as a senior citizen in Tobago? What affects you now when you look at the current situation?
I would like to put a different slant on crime. I cannot say that I have experienced anybody attacking me or attempting to attack me. In Tobago, we do not really have so much criminal activities like we hear of in our sister island. But right now I am experiencing something in my home that I consider a crime. Some people are not sufficiently cautious about what they do in their own homes. So what they do affects somebody else in their home. In my case, I have something like a farm right next door to me, and birds, especially a macaw, wakes me up at 6:30 every morning. I cannot sleep late. I cannot rest in the day. And no matter how much you talk about it, people are just selfish and they don't care, and I consider that a crime.
I remember as a child passing by and thieving fruits. You know, where I lived on my way from school, I raided just about every
that's
fruit
a better
tree.
word. Raid.
And it was not considered a problem.
Not stealing.
It was not considered stealing back then. So what is different now?
You see what they are doing now? They are stealing to sell. Long ago we steal to eat.
Yeah.
And you know, if the owner catches you, you might get a strict warning or tell your parents, and you might get a licking.
Yes.
But we won't steal in a bag of fruits to go and sell. All right, back then, Well, if I could start with the youth, they had a lot of work to do. So they were not idle people.
Right.
A lot of chores.
Yeah.
Nowadays, youth, you know, you have everything, water inside, you don't have to tote water, and all the rest of it. Even with the older people, I remember I grew up with my grandmother.
Yeah.
She even didn't have a key for her front door. Right. Sometimes the door was wide open.
Yeah.
All day, all night.
Yeah.
So there was a difference.
Right.
Back then, long ago, we used to share. Now I went down on the beach this morning. I see they're selling breadfruit. Now long ago, you never used to sell that. You go by your neighbor tree and you pick your breadfruit. You go by and you show it on the fireside and you roast it. Show it in the oven and you roast it. But you sell everything now.
I could remember my mother. She had joined a susu, and she had a friend. When she draw her susu, she'll give the friend some of it, some of the money. And they had a friend got married. Like, they had a hard time. Moderate what you had there. Give me some rice to cook now. Give me some so and so now. The mother will take it, give them to cook and thing and so on. But those days gone.
Now we know the old proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Long ago, your child belonged to everybody in the neighborhood. So anybody could correct your child. If your child is doing anything that's wrong, the neighbor could correct your child. And the children were taught to respect the neighbor, to respect the elders in the district. They respected if there was this respect for everybody. So when a child who was attempting to do something wrong saw an elderly person, immediately they stopped. And because they didn't want the person to either correct them or to tell the parent.
Yes.
You understand? Now, if you make the mistake to correct somebody's child,
crime has always been with us. It is just that it has escalated now. My home was broken into in the 80s. We are now in 2015. And the thief, he had to be watching me because I used to go to town once per month. You go and pay your bills and do what you have to do. And he had to be watching me because the one day I chose to go to Scarborough, he came and took the louvers out and went inside. But the mistake he made, he moved a plant and he didn't put it back. So from the time I reached home, I knew something was different. The man moved the plant, he went inside, he put back the glass.
Yes.
But he did not move the plant. And when I opened the door, he was inside. So he ran to the kitchen and opened and ran down the step. Next neighbor saw him running down the step and said, oh, he carried up something in the house for her.
Since you're saying that these young people now getting so bad, things are changing in your community, they're misbehaving, they're smoking drugs, they're stealing, you know, they're breaking into your place, may not be your place, but other person's, somebody's place. Aren't you the grandparents of these children? So how they get so?
I would like to say, before you do, I would like to say that there's always a story behind what is taking place.
Right.
Not all the children are that bad.
Right.
The few who are bad, they have a history, something went wrong. And that's why I'm saying parents have to open their eyes and look out for their children.
Now, if anybody know my mother, and I had told them before, my mother does not like me, they would understand, they would have understood why I said that. Until I got older and realized why. Now, when you try, you can't even hit a child now, they call it child abuse. Well, I get so much abuse, quote unquote. Yeah. I get so much abuse that no, I don't know if that should happen. No, I think my mother was going to be dead in jail. She was going to be all right. She was so strict that I swore that she did not like me. But I didn't know that it was the love she had for me why she was like that. When they were with me, I continued because I realized that this is the way they should go. Because I told one of my son once, I think he was doing a certain nonsense and maybe he expected me to agree with him. And he said that just as how I said I didn't love my mother, he said that I didn't like him. And I told him, if I have to encourage you in wrong things for me to like, he could start hating me from now.
Right.
Because I'm not going to encourage you in doing the wrong thing. But then now you can hardly, I have a son in the States that have children that call in the shots, and I want to know what went on.